And that's exactly why he lost in court today. The man looked absolutely stunned, like someone just told him gravity doesn't apply to him anymore. He stood there with the expression of a kid who lied about doing his homework and then got caught. Only this time, the judge wasn't playing. The moment the ruling dropped, you could almost hear the internal dialogue. Wait, what do you mean I don't get rewarded for lying? But I filmed everything. That courtroom moment? Comedy gold. The entitlement was loud. These are the same people who scream victim while actively stalking others like it's a hobby. And now, right on cue, the cyberbullying narrative is making a comeback. Suddenly it's harassment, this defamation, that all coming from the same crowd that's been doing the harassing. You got folks pretending to be fragile, hobbling around 1 minute like they can't even stand, then suddenly twirling like they're auditioning for a dance show. If that's not selective mobility, I don't know what is. And there's that one woman again, starts with an H, right? Can't recall the full name. But if we can't remember it, maybe it wasn't worth remembering. Still, none of that is a headline. The real story? The man who lost his case today. That courtroom didn't need a law professor to see through the nonsense. The judge watched the footage and practically translated the ruling into plain English. Sir, this isn't stalking. This is you following someone and then pretending you were the one being chased. Goodbye. And honestly, the nerve of it all. This is the same guy who shows up at meetings pretending to speak for the people while pushing a personal revenge tour disguised as civic engagement. At the last township meeting, a resident calmly stood up and called out the board's behavior with grace and clarity. No yelling, no antics, just facts. And what was the board's response? Excuses. Thin ones. The vibe was basically, sit down and let us keep playing with your money. No transparency, no accountability, just a blanket trust us like we're all too naive to ask for receipts. It's like being told, yeah, we brushed our teeth, but you still smell yesterday's lunch. Verification matters, especially when public funds are involved. Where's a forensic audit that was promised? Why is Napoleon Harris pulling in over $200,000 in compensation when nobody can even find a consistent job description for him? Why aren't meeting agendas posted before votes happen? These are basic questions. But rather than get answers, we get distractions, like this man, fresh off a courtroom loss, storming in from Harvey acting like he owns a place. And his solution? Freeze all township spending. Because apparently, burning down progress is the answer when your ego takes a hit in court. Let's not forget, this is the same guy who followed someone around with a camera and then had the audacity to say he was being harassed. He literally filmed himself being the problem. And now he's outraged that a judge had the audacity to believe actual evidence over his edited highlight reel. It's giving main character syndrome in the worst way. These are the kind of people who body cam their entire lives hoping to catch someone slipping, and somehow end up catching themselves. That's not justice. That's poetic irony with a side of self-destruction. Mark my words. If this man ends up in prison someday, it'll be because of something he proudly uploaded himself. Now let's talk about his demands. He strolled into that meeting with a list of demands longer than a CVS receipt. Salary cuts, hiring freezes, real-time tax dashboards, agenda packets uploaded early, bans on political mailers. Not next week, not next month, right now, like he's the mayor, CFO, and township manager rolled into one. It's giving delusions of grandeur. Meanwhile, he's still wearing the same shirt he always wears. Either he owns 10 identical ones, or he's out here living in a permanent uniform. And that camera? Glued to his chest like it's a vital organ. Always recording, always performing. But here's the plot twist. The performers always get caught in their own script. He screams about wanting transparency, but his version of it is yelling over residents, inserting himself into every topic, spinning conspiracy theories that don't hold up. The only thing transparent is the thirst for relevance. The whole act reeks of clout chasing, not public service. And just when you think he can't top himself, he grabs a mic and says, with a straight face, that a woman was harassed by a mentally deranged man outside the township building. He's talking about Jedi Brown. That's his new storyline. Apparently, We're now writing fan fiction and calling it evidence. Here's the thing, I saw that footage. We all did. Vivian Allen didn't call the police. She thanked the person who did. That alone tells you who dialed 911. You don't thank a stranger if you're the one who made the call. But that didn't stop this guy from twisting the story into something it never was. He spins fiction like a daytime soap, confidently, dramatically, and with zero self-awareness. It's like he thinks he's narrating an audiobook version of events only he remembers. The truth? These folks will never be satisfied. Give them full access, answer every question, host open forums. It won't matter. There's always another crisis to manufacture, another headline to chase, another tantrum to stage. This isn't about better governance. It's about turning local politics into a personal vlog series. And they're not doing it for the residents. They're doing it for attention. Meanwhile, regular people are out here just trying to survive, working multiple jobs, dodging foreclosure, scraping together property tax payments. They don't have time for this circus. But this guy, he's got nothing but time. And it shows. So go ahead, laugh, sigh, roll your eyes, but also stay alert, because while the rest of us are trying to rebuild, he's out here turning real life into low-budget reality TV. And now, we got Vivian Allen sitting right there while one of township politics' most dramatic storytellers claims she was ambushed by Jedi Brown's so-called crew, says she was verbally assaulted, forced to call the police. Except, again, she didn't call them. She thanked someone else for doing it. It was so obvious, even I joked about it live. Yet here we are, watching him narrate a brand new version of the truth, like he's reading from a teleprompter only he can see. And just when you think it can't get any messier, he takes up another level with a wild accusation that Jedi was somehow the aggressor in a township altercation last fall. Let's break that fantasy apart. What actually happened? His own daughter spat directly in Jedi's face, caught crystal clear on video, and Jedi responded accordingly. That wasn't an attack. That was restraint, because the real story ends with one man walking away with a finger pointing due west. One lone digit bent, like it was trying to file for independence. And yet here he is now, playing the victim like nothing happened. Predictable, doesn't even begin to cover it. But he doesn't stop at revisionist history. He flips the script like it's open mic night at a gaslight convention. Suddenly, he's the one preaching about harassment and cyberbullying, like we haven't all watched him spend months goading people, ambushing them, and turning public meetings into circus acts. This isn't about him being bullied. This is about him finally getting checked. And now he's throwing a tantrum because someone pushed back. And his solution? He wants Jedi permanently banned from township meetings. The excuse? Jedi's not a community player. What does that even mean? Are we choosing dodgeball teams now? Is there a jersey? Or just another excuse to silence someone who doesn't fall in line? He even went so far as to call Jedi animalistic, which isn't just offensive, it's calculated. That's the oldest trick in the book. When you're losing on facts, you start reaching for coded language. It's the desperate man's playbook, plain and simple. And what makes it worse? He drags Harvey Mayor Christopher Clark into the drama too, accusing both him and Jedi of running some kind of illegal eviction scheme. Let's talk about what really happened. They removed squatters. The same squatters these same critics were just begging anyone, to do something about. Jedi takes action, actually handles it, and suddenly it's a human rights issue? That's not advocacy. That's hypocrisy wrapped in bad faith. And that's the root of this whole meltdown. Jedi got things done. He didn't just talk. He moved the needle, took on housing abuse, squatter infestations, and property mismanagement, and actually made progress. That's what burns them up, because they've been stalling, dodging, and performing for years while Jedi stepped in and disrupted their carefully curated echo chamber. Let's be real. If Napoleon Harris actually wanted to turn this township around, Jedi would be on payroll yesterday. When everyone on the losing team hates the same guy, he's probably the only one scoring points. But here we are again, with the same guy who got publicly humbled the last time, now try to lead the charge like he didn't already walk into one courtroom and limp out metaphorically. And now he wants to reach that same hand back into the mess like he forgot what happened the first time. Word of advice? Pull that hand out before it ends up twisted again. Fingers don't always reset twice. Meanwhile, Jedi continue showing up with facts, solutions, and actual results. And who's trying to tear that down? Someone whose whole vibe screams basement broadband and barred authority. If he owns the property he lives in, color us shocked. His entire energy says, still living at home since the Bush administration. This isn't about Jedi being wrong. This is about Jedi being effective. And the louder the complaints get, the more obvious that becomes. Now, in a dramatic twist, he's calling Jedi dangerous and insisting you be removed for the safety of the room. Let's get something straight. If a strong voice scares you, you're not built for public service. Jedi is not the threat. He's the truth. And some of these folks just can't handle the reflection he forces them to look at. That mirror is too clear, and the cracks they see aren't in the glass. They're in themselves. So when the board starts whispering, please respect the speaker, it's almost laughable. Respect who? The man who's been steamrolling facts, weaponizing lies, and trying to turn every meeting into a scene from his personal revenge documentary? That's not a speaker. That's a liability. A walking lawsuit in waiting. And now, apparently, we're calling the police not on the agitator, but on the one person actually producing results? Please, this isn't about order. It's about control. They don't want calm, they want compliance. Jedi threatens that because he's not afraid to ask the uncomfortable questions, push back against performative leadership, and actually get things done. What's happening in these meetings isn't democratic discourse. It's delusional theater, filmed for social media and performed for likes. And the irony? All that footage he's so obsessed with capturing, it's not going to save him. It's going to expose him. Because sooner or later, the camera doesn't lie. Even if he does,